Bet you thought I wasn't going to. No, look, I'm here. Morning, David. Morning, Mark Osborne. Wazza. Paul from the Necklace Workshop. Fridge. Stuart. James B. Good to see you. Peter Nottle. We're on air. Are we here? Can anyone hear us? You're all asleep. You can see Dan's feet. You're right.
There's actually one other thing. He's got a couple of leather lounges.
Yeah.
You can't pick one up there?
I've got one up there. That's enough.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Nice, but no, sorry.
If I could fit it in somewhere, I would, but they're pretty good. But
where'd you put it? That's the trouble.
I'm not putting it anywhere. You can pick it up. I just got to let you know.
Yeah, everyone says, hi, Dan's feet. There you go. Rustanox, g'day. Brendan, hello. That was Dan. Looks like I might have scored another bookcase, which I'm really happy about. That was what that conversation was about. Never have enough bookcases. Sort of starting to seriously fill up the ones I made. So I've got enough timber here to make another one, and I'm going to do that. And then we'll see what happens. Hey, Nigel. Hey, Kevin. Hey, Ian Matthews. Hey, just a heads up. Monday morning next. Sunday afternoon, Texas time. Someone just reminded me. Think I'm showing up on ARW discussion. So there you go. Tune in. If you don't watch ARW, you probably should. Harold's a pretty decent guy. For an American, he's not a bad bloke at all. I shouldn't say that. Harold's all right. And yeah, he sent me an email saying, why don't you end? But it's 6 a.m. in the morning on Monday morning. I really never in the mood on 6 a.m. on the morning on Monday morning. But we'll make an exception this week. Hey, Jim, for an American. Sorry. Good video from Nigel this week on the high-low gear. Hey, Trits 4. Trits 4 is Mike from Cornwall, I think. Have I got that right? Yeah, Mike from Cornwall. Yes. Hey, Craig. So anyway, I'm here. I've really not had a good week, to be honest. It's getting better, but thanks to everyone. Hey, Bill. Hope you're laying down already. So that's where we're at this week. This week's been a bit of a write-off. I stuffed up my Toolfest 2021 project. Only minor stuff up. Fairly minor stuff up, but it's going to take a little bit to get back on track with it. New shop space is all right. It's getting more spacious. We have some news. I sold my Shaper. There you go. Bit of a tear actually, but probably it was time. I shouldn't, and I don't know. The thing is, the situation is thus. I've got to get a mill, which is a CVA die sinking mill, model 79 or 73 or something, yeah. Which is fairly big. It stands 2200 high, something like that. And it's got a fairly big table on it, or a much bigger table than the one I've got. And it's pretty solid, good, rigid machine. Nice taper 3 spindle. Decent quill vertical milling machine. Hey, John. And floor standing, big floor standing mill. It's working mill, but it's still a work in progress because there's a lot of things that still could be done to it. More video about it at some point, but it's a fairly big, heavy mill. Anyone who's seen it, and it weighs 750 kilos, something like that, a bit more. And it's got a 3-phase motor on it, a fairly big one. So I think we could probably put a VFD on it and be done with it at this point. But it needs a lot of accessories as well. Things like a DRO and stuff like that. And it belonged to Dad, and it's in Tasmania, which is 2,000 kilometres or something away, 2,500, something like that. So it's a fairly solid sort of a thing, and it's mine for the asking. Basically, I've got to give my kid sisters something for it, I guess. But put it that way, it's a sort of 1/3 discount on a fairly good price. So it's a big mill, and it's going to have to come up here on the pallet, and the time's rapidly approaching where I've got to send it. Got to get it out. Hey, Stephen. So, to the point that I'm going to have to go down and load it and get it on a truck, even before Toolfest 2021 sort of finishes. So it's getting a little bit sort of pressing. It's going to cost me. I've had various quotes from about 800 through to about 1,500 to get it up here. Now, they're just quotes over the phone. I guess whatever it measures up to might be lower or higher or whatever. So, got to get it here. But to do so, I've got to go to Tassie, and I haven't got any annual leave, so I've got to go to Tassie on a shoestring budget and buy tickets and get down there and get to the plane and get around down there and organise that, and also get the lathe out so that someone can come and buy it or whatever, and do a few other things. There's a few other things of mine down there that need to be collected and sold and so forth. So that's where we're at the end of now, middle of next month, beginning of next month. That's where I'll be going. So I've got to get the Toolfest 2021 project that I'm doing up and running and half finished, there's only about, I don't know, someone will have the number of days. Paul, how many days till Toolfest 2021's over? But that's what we're going to do. So anyway, that's sort of become possible because of some awesome people, and I really appreciate it. I'm not going to really say too much about that because 41 days. Which reminds me of the Monty Python skit a little bit. How long is it? 42 days, sir. Isn't that a rather personal question? Plenty of time. Yeah, plenty of time. No, there's not really. 41 days is stuff all. And my project, of course, is like everyone else's project. In that I've bitten off way more than I can chew, and on paper it's not as complicated as it is actually in actual practice. So there's more bits to it than expected. So got a few of them started. Anyway, don't expect everyone to jump on and donate to that. That's a bit stupid, really. And I was in a pretty crap spot yesterday because I stuffed up a bit on my build, and I'm really not making progress here. I got my bookcases nearly all full again and stuff put away. My living room's got piles of books stacked around it everywhere, and I'm completely over it. Like, really, it's frustrating. Don't seem to be making a lot of headway on actually painting these bits for the kick press, but slowly. And it all got a bit much yesterday, and I had a whinge, and on Discord, and I probably shouldn't have had a whinge on Discord. I should just keep it to myself, and I'm sorry, guys, but a few of you responded in a pretty awesome way, so I feel a little bit not very good at saying thank you, put it that way, but it's very much appreciated, and we'll get that mill up here and organised, and probably a TIG welder as well. So that'll make things a little bit easier. Going on from here as well, so we will get that another month or another 2 months notice, and it wouldn't have been even the slightest hardship to do all this, but to get all this done before Christmas is pushing it a bit. Anyway, I've sold the shaper, and special thanks to a viewer who stepped up and bought that and is coming to get it on the weekend. It's a reluctant sale, but it's probably the bench space will be very much appreciated too. Whether I sell the Centec mill, I'm really not sure. Hey, Old Iron Shops. G'day, Chris. The Centec mill might move as well. I've been offered quite a bit of money. For the Centec, and I might move it on. The trouble is that if I do that, I think I've just found a vertical head for it after all this time, so that's a bit sonic crap, because I've been looking since I bought it for a vertical head, and I think I may have just found one, which makes it a very, very nice machine. So I'm honestly not sure whether I want to keep it or not. In fact, I'm sort of feeling like I don't know yet. I really don't. Anyway, enough waffling on. That's what's been happening. I haven't really been in a very good spot, but it's good that you guys all tuned in on Wednesday night to listen to me moan. Keep it set up for smaller work. Yeah, maybe. No, Dan's got smoker's cough. That's what it is. He's hotboxing himself, Dutch ovening himself over there in the kitchen, and yeah, it probably is a bit relaxed because he's probably had a joint. And he's probably, yeah, he's got a prescription for that stuff, and yeah, he'll be all right. Hey, Tom. Apparently, Fridge is coming up. Dan Shed's supposed to be coming up this weekend. We'll see if we see him or not. If he does, that'd be awesome. He's got a heap of stuff to take with him. There's an assortment of junk that he's taken with him, which will be greatly appreciated if he does get here. And I think his channel's going to have some pretty cool news fairly soon if that all goes ahead. So I can't tell that because it's his news, but it sounds pretty exciting. So that's what's happening here. Raymond, I think, is going to come and come and pick up that shaper this weekend as well. So that's another thing that's happening on Sunday. And I need to make some very definite progress on my Toolfest 2021 build because it's a bit pressing. I had a visitor this last week, which was a guy named Ray, who's a viewer, local guy. JB, g'day. Dropped off a heap of magazines, which is awesome. Volume 110 and 100 and I thought it was 116, but it's actually 110. It was a typo on the box. So volume 110 was much appreciated, and volume 114 and 113 and volume 100 of Model Engineer. I already had volume 100. So they've sort of been filed and catalogued and put away. Upstairs, something I did sort of last week or this last few days. And another box too. We might have a look in that wooden box if we got time at some point. Look at this. This is pretty cool. Don't know what I'm going to do with these because I don't really want to collect another magazine. And this got out of hand. It could get out of hand very easily. They're really very difficult to find. So you would be forever finding this copies of Newton's Practical Mechanics. Enough to build up a complete set. I don't think I'm even going to go through and see how many are missing or what's here or what's involved or how many editions are here. But this is a pretty awesome magazine. This is probably nearly more awesome than Model Engineer. You all right, Dan?
So?
You all right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone in there is wondering whether whether you're dying or something from the noise that's coming out.
I probably am.
Yeah, right.
But I can't hear it.
Ah, fair enough. We're all worried about you.
Well, don't worry about me.
Craig has a whole box of these. Righto. I don't want a whole box of them. Oh, sorry. Chris has a whole box of these. Now, pretty cool magazine. Lots of boat building and lots of photography. How to build a 15-inch forehead or hand loom. Very important thing. How to make a floor polisher. Industrial infrared machine. Making concrete paths, an awful concrete path with a bend in the top. Have a look here. The screed's got a radius in it. It would be the most awful concrete path ever imaginable. At least the water wouldn't sit in it. Some bookbinding. Someone wants to come and do some bookbinding for me. I'd really appreciate it. How to silver clock dials. That's pretty exciting. And wax them. Black and Decker handy utility drills. 1/2-inch drill. There's a lot of very useful queries and inquiries. How to frost electric light bulbs. That's a very interesting thing. I'm not sure anyone really needs to do that in this day and age. And a damp-proof windowsill. Sorry, I get carried away. There's some pretty cool stuff here. There's an Adept hand shaper and a Super Adept lathe for sale. Probably wouldn't buy one of them. It's a Lucas cycle dynamo. It's the lightest and brightest. And the cyclist column. Dunlop tyres and BSA bikes. Improved cycle like too. And the Zyto lathe, which was basically, I think, a Super Adept. I might be wrong with that. I think it's a bit bigger than that, but it's Tyzac made their own lathe. And a Wolf Club drill with amazing adaptability. Use it for sanding. So these are pretty cool, really. They're a bit of a mess. This one's Christmas 1952. Who can remember Christmas 1952? Probably not very many people here. This one's been eaten by something, I think. Seems to have it might be silverfish. There's the cover off it. Haven't really delved very, very far into this, but I'd say that they've all got silverfish damage and they're all a bit rough. I might read them through and I don't know what to do. Spray them with some insecticide for a start, I think. Seem too good to toss out. The covers are all here, but they're all sort of all over the place. See what else is in here. These looks like they're all practical mechanics. That one's not. What's in the bottom here? There's another magazine that's in here. Quite a lot. There's an Australian magazine. Awesome, Stuart. There's the most handsome machinist on YouTube. He just arrived. You should go and check his channel. That's awesome. Do not encourage Craig. Here's a copy of Mechanics Illustrated. How nice is this Southern Railway locomotive on the cover? How to set a world's record. There you go. And the annual Daddy's Diaper Derby in San Francisco, they are. Yeah, it looks like there's a lot of good world records. What's new in science? There's a PEP dispenser. You can dust cobwebs from your brain with the Oxalator, a home oxygen dispenser invented by J.P. Burns of San Antonio, Texas. Tank is in the rear. Front door opens, reveals a mask. It's good for fatigue, headaches, and you know what. Don't really know what, but I'm guessing that whatever it is, it's good for it. If anyone knows what, you could comment. And science can bring you back from the dead. This must be an American magazine. It feels a bit. New York's rubber subway. McCahill drives the fabulous Bentley. Look at that. That's him driving the Bentley. Helicopter tracks down stolen car. Gosh, the technology. Where will we be? What year is this? The New Monthly. Volume 2, number 35, Mechanics Illustrated. It's the British edition, October 1953. Where will we be in 70 years? Probably having police chase cars in helicopters. If we knew it, only knew it. Home handies. How to make a nice rope lamp. That's a really nice rope lamp. It looked good. Bit nautical in design. I might be good without a rope lamp. How to make a nameplate. How to make a rocking horse. Chirpy, or Chirpy's not here. Chirpy had a good video today, this week. Featured some rocking horses. And modern car care. Anyway. Over 50. How old is this man and how old is this man? Check your fitness score against these complaints of middle age. Who has loss of appetite? Which one of you guys has loss of appetite? And palpitations? And neurasthenia? And loss of virility? Lack of concentration? And nervous exhaustion? And lassitude? What you need is a course of glandular extracts and vitamins to invigorate your sluggish glands and restore your whole body to radiant, full-bodied good health. You can go from this to this. Grow your hair back and wear a tie and all that stuff and smile. Scientific products. No obligation. Yep. Looks like good stuff. Can we see a sneak preview? We'll have a look. Nervous exhaustion, that's me. I'm not 50 yet though. There's this one too, which is Hobbies Illustrated, which is an Australian magazine. This is pretty good. I've got a few copies of this somewhere. Probably the ads are a little bit more Australian. There's a handy bed shelf. Nice too. Quality shelf. Fitting pistons, rings, gudgeon pins and bearings in your car. It's a nice bedside table. The model electric motor. Model electric locomotive. Gadget for lecturers. Look at that. It's a auto-propped. Now, very cool. It's got 2 rollers and a roll of paper. A free flight sport power model for 5 to 7.5 to 0.75 cc. Designed by Fred I. Stephen. That nice vintage free flight aeroplane. How loud can you say crash? Awesome Rustanox, that's pretty exciting. Take care, Kevin. Build your boy a land yacht. Why stop at the boy? Look at this. Build your boy a land yacht. 4 pram wheels and a box. And a kite. How good's that? That'd be fun. Anyone who wants to build any of these projects, let me know and I'll photocopy them for you or scan them. Seriously. Anything you see in here you think, oh, I'd like that, let me know. Bill Honeyfield's gardening newsletter. Dear reader, notes to your garden hobbyists from February are quoted with a certain amount of reserve. Yeah, nothing's going to grow this February. Ducati news. Yeah, see, that's what it is. Knock and Kirby's Ducati cycle motor fitted to your engine. Price £49, 15 shillings. That's a fair bit. You can get it on the Never Never. £18, 15 shilling deposit. 20 shillings weekly. 6-month guarantee. 90 days free service. Not real generous. So, of course, where would it be without an ad on the back for Stan and myself supporting trousers in Crusader cloth? A hallmark of quality. There you go. You can tell by his telephone, his pin-up girl books, and his ashtray, and stripy tie. So there you go. There's a box of magazines turned up. Not sure they're particularly interesting to anyone except me. I'm sort of loving looking through them. They are a bit messy and they're a bit sort of silverfishy. Probably a little bit rat pooey, but they're good fun. and really enjoy looking through them. So maybe that's just me. How to build an inexpensive telescope. There's a Myford. Look at that. Myford Type ML7 heavy duty lathe. Finest lathe in its class. Doesn't say how much. There's a very condescending gentleman saying that no other tyre will actually satisfy him now. Maybe it's the girl saying that. Firestone for a better tomorrow. Best today is still better tomorrow, actually. Tailor-made to fit without wrinkling. Rubber base valve prevents air leaks. Insulated, rubber dipped insulated cord body. Geez, it's pretty good. You need a Bailey's Super Pump to go with it, or Apex Superlight celluloid pump. The brass pump's cheapest, probably the best. Anyway, don't know if there's anything else in here of any real interest. There is a Stuart Turner leaflet. That was a bit of a score for building a Stuart Turner 10H double 10 and Score engine, double 10 and Score steam engines. The Score was a horizontal twin, wasn't it? There's the drawings and everything. That was the leaflet that come with the castings. No castings, thank goodness. There's a copy of Hobbies Junior, which was the kids' vision of Hobbies Illustrated. Things to do without things to make. There's a Popular Mechanics. You design a body for the Superba car contest and you actually win the chassis. Bet they didn't post it to Australia. Portable air compressor plant. How modern does that look? Gee, I would build one of them. So I don't know what else is in here. I don't think there's any model engineers in here. There's a few Popular Mechanics. Had a bit of a dig in here before. Lot of Practical Mechanics. But there you go. Box of books. Hey, Paul. Probably have a land yacht for your nan. Yeah. Fridge, I might try and get some photocopies ready for you on Friday night. Flying car. If I see some flying car articles, I will send them to you. I do expect you to build them. Anyone who actually gets drawings out of any of these magazines from me, there's an expectation that we make a video on building the article. So flying car should be fun, should make good video. So that's a box of bits. Don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. They don't fit in with any other connection, but they were the right price and they're good fun to read. So I'm probably going to read through them and hand them on to someone else. Or don't know yet. I think they're gone to really put on a bookshelf. Hey, Russell. So there we go. this is a pretty useful box. Sorry. Oh, anyone who's yet, probably you have. This is my borate stones collection. Try and buy these when I can because they're pretty helpful and they're probably better than files. They wear out a bit quicker, but they're good because you can shape whatever shape and they give a nice uniform finish. And the coarser ones anyway are very, very quick to remove metal, and the fine ones are very good for polishing. So if you see any of these turn up for the right price at sales and things, grab them because they're worth having. They go from pretty coarse, like this one, 180 grit. These are EMD stones, all different shapes. Right. Triangles and rounds, squares, rectangles, big squares, little squares, big circles, little square circles. Through to fairly fine. And that one's 1200. Mould and die maker polishing stones. And that's a boride 600, which is probably even finer, to be honest, than the 1200. And some of them are soft, some of them are hard. They're used for different things. It's a box of 900 there. They're really fine. So, I've been messing with that. Dan's being indignant about the TV. So you have to excuse the language in the other room. What do they cost? You can get them for nothing, nearly. I bought a box lot, and I've got a lot of others that I've picked up at swap meets and things. Somewhere I've got a box of 600s. They're not in here. Don't know where they are. This isn't my entire collection. I've got a box of these somewhere in a couple of different shapes. I reckon I've got another box of 220s or 180s or something somewhere in square. Look, if you can buy them for $10 a stone, you're probably getting a pretty good deal. I don't know what the suppliers sell them for. If you can get them for less than that, if you can get a box of them, like, there's a box of 220. 3/8 by 6 inch round. Quantity is 6. That's not right. Might be 6 packets. These are 120s. They're EDM stones. They're really coarse. They'll shift a lot of metal pretty quick. And these are 220s, like it's supposed to be in this box. This is boride. This is Guesswin. Congress is another brand. They do break pretty easy. Look at that. And there's another EDM stone, which is really good. If you can get these are awesome. But they're worth spending the money on, to be honest, because they're I reckon they're better than needle files. I'd pick these, especially in hard steel. I'd pick these up before I picked up in steel. I'd pick these up before I picked up needle files, and I try and keep my needle files a bit for actual brass and alloys and things, and soft steel. But as far as finishing steel and tool steel and stuff, these are fantastic. So yeah. Borides, don't go out and buy them. Wait until they fall in your lap. Don't go and buy them new, because that's just soul destroying. You can probably buy them new for $15, $12-15 each. I reckon I've got quite a lot of them that I paid $2 or $3 each for. And they do tend to wear out, but you can shape them into different shapes when they start to wear a bit and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, I'm really not sure I want to give you a sneak preview of my Toolfest 2021, because I'm making a video, and if everyone already knows about it and progress reports every time, by the time I make a video, no one will watch it, which is a bit boring. But seeing as Craig asked nicely, there you go. That's what I got so far. With one of the bits. So there you go. Stephen says, sure you do. This is... This is D2. So there you go. That's what I'm working on. Bit of work in this. Half a claw hammer head. Yep, something like that, Tom. It's not very big. It's a fair bit of work in it. But that's machined in the forge or chuck and then cleaned up with those stones. So that gives you some sort of an idea what they'll do. It's not looking too bad, actually. Got a hole in there too. And there's enough shadow so you can't see too much detail, but that's what I'm working on. You probably all know what that is by now. I did give you a reference to Model Engineer in 1943 last week, so you should have already looked that up if you really want to know what it is. So yeah, it's a paperweight basically, but hopefully it's a half precision sort of a tool, and it's going to be all right. It's something I've wanted for a while. Are there any questions? Correct answer, Paul. Yeah, good question. No, it's not. It's not a bandsaw table. It's got quite a few more features to go in it. I'll show you again next week. See how much further along we are. Probably with some other pieces attached. A few screws and things in it. So there we go. But it's a more ambitious project than I had originally intended. So there we go. Oh. What other exciting things are happening in YouTube world. Um, don't know really. Never got enough tool steel bits. I stuffed a bit up, which is this piece. Put this taper in here a little bit too big, so it's too loose. It's not going to work. There's nothing I can do about putting that back in, so I'm going to have to make another one of these. So I've got to find another bit of tool steel to cut that out of. This is D2. That was the offcut off the side of that block out of a big lump of stuff, or a bigger lump of stuff I had. I can easily bandsaw up another one, dress up each side and mark it out and start again. But a bit of messing around, a bit of work in this. And when I stuffed it up, I really wasn't very happy about that. Kevin's got a floating reamer hole video, which is awesome. Jeremy's tap wrench is very, very good. You should go and check that out. It's awesome. His tools are all art. Really enjoy those builds. I'm a bit sleepy. I picked up a book too. My friend came and dropped off those magazines, and I horse traded him a book as well, which is awesome. Clickspring's got a Rose engine, yeah. Nice to have disposable income for things like Rose engines. To add a couple extra zeros on my disposable income to get a Rose engine. Chirpy's excellent spelling there, Craig. Chirpy's been to a Steam Day. It's a good video. I really enjoyed that. There's some actual footage of Chirpy with a spoke shave. So probably everyone's got this book. This is a workshop practice series book that I never had. So I swapped him a copy of Alec Farmer's model locomotive boiler making, which I had 2 of for this. So that's pretty cool. I think this is a pretty good book. Oh, and there's another video too. No one watched it, he said. That's a bit slack. It's on my list of videos to watch. I feel bad now, John. I really do. I feel terrible that I haven't watched your video. It's a very, very good video, I imagine, if it come from John. On John's little steam plant, which looks really good. It's turned into a pretty crazy project. We should go and subscribe to John Creasy. I'm supposed to be sign painting too, which is something that hasn't really happened as much as it should have this week. Probably this weekend or probably tomorrow night I'm going to sit down here and run the first row of letters on, and then it'll look a whole lot more finished than it is now. Oh, there's one from JB on building a generator plant. Yep. I get footage in my inbox on that every few days, so it was really, I haven't watched it, but I probably should see it all put together. I'm really not winning with this epoxy enamel. That's another thing that's doing my head in a bit. I'm trying not to be ungrateful, guys, because it was all you lot that bought me the tin of paint. And I'm using it. There we go, there's some green paint. I'm using it to paint this stupid kick press because it's all dirty and I don't want dirty old machines sitting around here too much. So slowly coming together, but it's very difficult to get anything to cover. It's going to need another coat. I thought it would probably, this last coat would have done. Don't know if I want another 10 litres of it. Is this book in metric? That's a really good question. Is that a metric book? Good question. So far, I haven't seen any actual measurements. It's all just theoretical, but tooth forms and gear tooth sizes, covers diametral pixel module, cycloidal and hypercycloid teeth, bevel wheels, making gear cutters and arbors. Let's go back down here and have a look. Sorry. What else? DPs. That's in Imperial. Module 4. 3.89 millimeter with tip width, or 2.91 millimeter tip width. Outside diameter in metric. So I think it's both. I think there's plenty of metric in it. I think it's as much metric as it is imperial. There's not a whole lot of measurements on any of the drawings or anything like that. So I wouldn't say it's an exclusively imperial book. It sort of tells you a lot of both. But it's more about theory than actual measurements. Formulas all seem to be both module and diametral pitch. If you're making replacement gears for things, you tend to use a lot of DP rather than module. But there you go. Interesting. Hope that answers the questions. Alistair, g'day. That happens, Alistair. I find that I have books with two of. Russell, I'll have to have a look at that. So, today was a pretty crazy busy day, but it was an unproductive day because everyone spent $10 and as a consequence, it wasn't a crazy good day financially. And I had to work pretty hard for my money at the shop. But anyway, we got through it and I'm glad to be home. A bit of a clean up upstairs, but I've got boxes there everywhere that I'm trying to put stuff away. I'm not real happy about that, but what can we do? Thanks for checking in, Alistair. Anyway, for everyone who come in late, ARW discussion next week, 17th. Looks like probably me and Matty. It's at this stage, I don't know who else. So if you want to catch up with Matty, it might be a pretty cool thing to go and have a look at. I'll only be there for the fill in a box, I think. But there's always awesome people there, so you get to meet someone cool. Discovered I haven't got a 732. I haven't got a 732 Reamer. I've got a 932 and I've got a 20. I've got a 1764th, which is a fraction smaller than 932. A 64th smaller actually, which is what, 18th hour or something smaller. Very useful size. So I've got a metric one. I've got a 6mm. That'll do nicely. Yeah, metric equivalents for things like a stupid size. And the proportions really look nice at 5.5 or 732, but 6mm will do, unfortunately. The 5/16 one, which I've used, and well, that's the 17/64 one. It's not a particularly useful size at all. 5 looks a bit weedy, I think, for the job, but that's a 5mm one. That's a Morse taper one. I think we're going with 6mm anyway. That's the theory with that. More will be revealed in time. Might show you another part next week, and then you can work out what it'll be. I'm yawning here, and I'm sorry, guys. I really am. Not a whole lot of fun tonight. Been reading a book this weekend, which is not particularly exciting. I've been reading Daddy Longlegs by Gene Webster. Or I read it. It's not a particularly long read. Very awesome. Yeah, romance anyway, but it was good fun. Why not, Craig? Anyway, it's a good breed. If you've got small daughters who like to read, and it's a pretty good wholesome story, and it's good fun, it's got a surprise ending, and it's kind of gushingly romantic and a little bit hopeless, but it's fun. It's a good book. Anyway, no other books I'm really going to show you today. I've got to find an article on flying cars for Carl Eden so we can make a flying car, because I'm going to hold him to that. as the next logical progression for his YouTube channel, of course. And yeah, I don't know if I've got really a whole lot more to add. Sorry, guys. I'm really not all that much fun tonight. Not that much fun tonight. Anyway, thanks everyone for everything this week. I really appreciate that. It's been an awesome weight off my mind actually sorting stuff out. And it's really good to catch up with everyone tonight. Thanks heaps, Craig, for all these links in the chat. That's awesome. Really appreciate everything you do for the channel. And Craig's got a pretty good channel too. You should go and check that out. Apart from that, I'm not sure there's a whole lot happening. There'll be an update on the mill. I guess there's going to be a live stream from Tasmania on Wednesday night when I'm down there. And hopefully by that stage we'll have it out and packed up and ready to go. And say goodbye to the shaper. We might do a bit of a video when he comes to collect that. Getting it out on the bench and getting stuff together. We'll see how he feels about that. And we've still got jobs to do with the Centec mill, but I've got a guy who's fairly keen on buying it, so we'll think about that. See what's with it. And if Dan's workshop comes up, well then we can get rid of some stuff there too and make a little bit more space as well. We'll take a video camera. There'll be probably, I don't know, I might try and get and see. Going to try and get and see Craig, but we'll see how we go with that. Trip to Hobart's a couple of days out of my weekend, a week that I might or might not have. We'll see how we go towards the end of it. He's going to be terribly busy with his Toolfest 2021 video by then anyway. Anyway, I'm out, I think. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Thanks to all my new subscribers. And more soon, guys and girls. And I promise to have an ordinary video out at some point as well. Be kind to each other, and particularly to me. You've all been very kind to me, and I really appreciate that. So thanks to everyone who got up in America in the early hours of the morning. You're all good people. I love you to bits. And everyone who stayed up in places like New Zealand before bed to tune in. Really appreciate that too. And all you crazy Australians who are up an hour early an hour late because of daylight saving. It doesn't affect us here. Anyway, I'm out. Take care. And we'll catch you next week, guys and girls, with more news and probably a little bit more upbeat, I hope. Take care.